Hello and welcome back to your Pennsylvania Dutch Minute. This is part 2 of our mini series on modals. If you didn't watch the last episode, Modals Part 1, please go watch that because that explains a lot of things that I'm going to expect you to already know when watching this Modals Part 2. So we're going to jump right into it. In our last video, quickly, we went over what a modal was. Here are those two example sentences again in English. Remember, a modal stands on its own, can't stand on its own, and has to have another verb. I am allowed to go. The red is the modal. Green is the verb. He can buy the book. So again, real quickly, those are what those are. And then in the last video, we also went over what the rules for modals are. And again, those are number 1, conjugate the modal, and number 2, move the verb to the end. That was the tricky part. And I've said, rule number 1 is important too because modals don't follow normal conjugation patterns. So last time we had 3 modals. Here are the last 3 modals that we're going to be covering. And I have them conjugated out just like I did the last time. So the first one is misse, which means to have to or must. And when we conjugate that out, it becomes muss, so the I changes to a U. Muss, musht, muss, misse, mist, misse. Okay. The next one, solle, to be supposed to. No verb, no spelling change on this one. This one's an easy one. Goes to soll, sollst, soll, solle, sollt, solle. And then the last one, wolle. And wolle means to want to. Now notice here the O changes to an I, so be careful. Will, wit. That one's really weird. It goes to 2 T's instead of the L's. Will, wolle, wollt, wolle. The biggest problem with this one that English speakers have is they see will and they think it means will in English, but it doesn't. Remember, it means to want. When you say ich will, that means I want, not I will. That's different. That's future tense. We'll cover that in another video. So those are the 3 you need to do. Memorize them. Add them to our list of the 3 that we had in the last video. And just say them over and over again, and they'll stick eventually. Let's look at the 3 of them in action, like we did last time. So let's start with misse, and I have the sentence, you must eat it. I often say that as a father to my young children, you must eat it. And in Pennsylvania Dutch, that would be, remember, conjugate the modal, put the verb at the end. Du musst es essen. Du musst es essen. Okay? And here we have a sentence, a situation with solle, supposed to. Have the English sentence, he is supposed to buy the book. Again, conjugate the modal, put the verb all the way to the end. Soll es Buch kaufen. Soll es Buch kaufen. And now a quick one with wolle, to want to. In this case, I changed it from ginger ale in the last video. I thought that's not Pennsylvania Dutch, so I'm throwing in birch beer this time. So if you wanted to say, I want to drink birch beer, again, conjugate the modal, put the verb at the end. Ich will birch beer drinke. Ich will birch beer drinke. And don't look at that sentence and think it means I will drink birch beer, because it doesn't. Remember, this is a weird one. You gotta somehow flip your brain and say it's not will, it's to want. Ich will birch beer drinke. I want to drink birch beer. And then just like in the last video, what if we're asking a question? We just invert the word order, so the modal is going to come first. In this case, I'm using wolle to want to, and our same sentence as last time about driving a tractor. This time is a question, do you want to drive a tractor? Conjugate the modal, put the verb at the end. Wilt du en tractor voeren? Wilt du en tractor voeren? Now, I really flew through those in this video because I hope that you saw video 1, where I go much more in depth about the rules and why they do what they do and how they do what they do. This was just to give you those last 3 modals, so now you have all 6. They all follow the same rules. They're used a lot. Think how often you use the verb to want, or excuse me, the modal to want in English, and we use it just as often in Pennsylvania Dutch. So memorize them, use them, start creating sentences, practice using them. That's how you're going to get better. If you're in those Facebook groups that I belong to, throw some of these sentences on there and see if people, how they respond. Ask questions using modals to get people to respond, and you can see how other people, use them and so forth. But keep practicing. It's the only way you're going to get better. if you have an idea for a future video, as I always say, please email me, and it could be about anything. It doesn't have to be grammar. It could be a cultural topic or a historical topic or anything like that. But just email me and let me know. I'm always looking for new ideas. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, well, what the heck you waiting on? Subscribe so that you get an email update or an update every time that I post something new, and that way it also allows you to interact with me as well through the YouTube channel. And also tell your friends. Maybe you know somebody out there that laments that they didn't learn Pennsylvania Dutch and they'd really like to learn it. I know this isn't the ideal situation. The ideal situation is in a classroom with a teacher. I understand that. But I do this because there's a lot of people out there that don't have access to classrooms that offer Pennsylvania Dutch. So I hope these videos are helping. I hope it's something that you can utilize. Shoot me an email sometime and let me know how I'm doing. I love to take criticism, both good and bad. I appreciate negative criticism too. It makes me improve my skills and improve my product. So don't be afraid to shoot me some things where you think I should be doing it differently. Gladly take that criticism. So at this point, I'm going to sign off. Keep practicing your Pennsylvania Dutch. Send me ideas. And until next time, as my son says here at the end, Mox good.
That's good.